Welcome back, everybody, to Maniacal Music Musings. I'm your host, Jeremy, as always, the devil as they like to say. They tried replacing me, but I told them over my dead body. So now I sit here, living with regrets, smoking cigarettes, and just staring into space. Well, who was I kidding that for anyway? I had high hopes for the show when I first started it. Too many people, though, were doing backseat driving on the direction of it, so now I'm just a proud podcast whore singing my song for a friend who was left on Mars in the abyss. I miss you, Chancy. My co-host, however, or as I like to call him, Impatient Zero of the Chameleon Boy Ward. He's a black orchid among the darkness. Really, he is. They said he had schizophrenia, but he's just the rebel of the North. Ignore him. He's trying to put his moves on Frankenstein's wife all day, so it may seem that way sometimes.
I got the
All the
medicine to hurt it.
all the women always ask him, how long is too long? And he just says, give me a minute, let me fish it out my underoos here, and I'll be sure to let you know. His neighbors all say the dragon must die, but they tried and failed so many times, even though it's better to live next to any man in America but him. They just decide to live in fear. CJ motherfucking playing, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't gonna lie, CJ. I had some fun writing that one today, for fuck sure.
That was a good one. I like that one. I could play into that one a little bit.
Exactly. And hey, Harley, thank you for watching as always. Actually, Harley, what Facebook are you on? Is mine actually working or no? I doubt it. But folks, we have a very special guest tonight as always, and our guest tonight is Tony Kessel, author of It's All in the Lyrics, and there's a little bit more of it after that, but I'll let him get to that in a bit. How's it going tonight, Tony?
It's going well. Fantastic intro. I loved it.
I appreciate. Oh, as someone who listened to a few episodes, I'm sure you're like, "Yep, I know what's coming. I know what's coming."
Yeah,
some kind of long-winded fucking intro. Yeah. So, Tony, tell us about your book. When I saw the title, I was like, "Ooh, a music book. I definitely gotta get this guy in the show."
Yeah, absolutely. So I wrote a book. It's called "It's All in the Lyrics: How Music Helped Me Heal and Find My Voice." So I'm a lifelong music fan, and what I did is I started out in Garth Brooks, and was huge into Garth Brooks when I was a kid. Basically, kind of helped me through the transition as I went into foster home. And as everybody knows, he retired in 2000, and I had to figure out what to do with my life. And so I left from Garth Brooks, 90s country. I had this weird pop phase, and then I started getting into radio rock, like Matchbox 20, Fuel, Creed, that type of stuff. And then I went full-fledged into new metal, Slipknot, Korn, all that stuff. So
Nice.
Really what I did is back in 2017, Garth Brooks came to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and my wife got me tickets for my birthday. And I was sitting in this concert, just reliving my life, and I was like, what in the world happened? How do I go from just being this obsessed, all I listened to was Garth Brooks, to this metalhead, And so I'm in the National Guard, and I was drilling in Roswell, New Mexico. It's about 180 miles or 3 hours. And so as I was driving home, I just put my iPod on shuffle and kind of took the rest of the journey. And it was just crazy, the emotions that came with it. And by the end of that trip, it was 4 a.m. I was like, I got to build a playlist. So I built 366, one entry per day for a year, and basically just wrote my life to the soundtrack of my life. So it was a very healing journey. I've been through a lot, being in the Army, getting adopted legally, going to foster home, getting a divorce. It's all stuff that's in there. So, but yeah, it was an interesting experience.
So, I mean, honestly, yeah, sounds like a journey a lot of people in this world have to go through. Similar, well, maybe not exactly, but close to similarities. And I mean, music heals. We've said that in the show a lot. Music really does heal the soul and everything else. Music. I mean, no matter what mood I'm in, I know what music to listen to get me to a certain other mood. I can always put myself in whatever mood I want with music, and I know a lot of people that feel the same way. So it's a really important thing, and sounds like a good book. I definitely would check it out.
Absolutely.
And I love that you got a new metal As soon as you said corn, I was like, fuck yeah, corn.
Yeah,
I
that
don't.
was I listened to your guys' Follow the Leader in Americana episode this afternoon
Okay.
actually, and you guys had me pinging on nostalgia like crazy. That was high school for me. So
That was actually the point of that episode. Is the
yeah,
the first 2 of 4 albums were childhood albums. So yeah,
yeah.
I brought Offspring, Jamie brought corn. So yeah, it worked out. It was definitely nostalgia city in that one. But speaking of good album, well, okay. Speaking of albums, what album did you want to bring us today?
So I brought you guys Justin Furstenfeld's Songs from an Open Book. It's kind of in the same vein as what I did, and honestly, I've got into this album while I was writing my book, and it was. I'm big into Elliott Smith as well, but there's this transparency with some artists, and specifically Justin Furstenfeld of Blue October fame. Um, he just has been so open and honest about his mental health journey, about sobriety, about his divorce, about custody. He really taught me artistic transparency. So as I've kind of sifted through some of my mental health stuff, he this album was huge. It was huge. I just liked how it had this like VH1 storytellers type approach. And anybody, and I would caution anybody who is going to go through and listen to this, you have to listen to the album all the way through. It starts dark and it gets darker. And if you don't close the loop on the journey, you're in a desperate place emotionally. The first time I heard it, I broke, you know. So really, really good album. So
Well, I was actually debating who was going to go first this week between 2 of us, but I know CJ is excited about this for reasons, but I'm not going to ruin the reasons. I'll let him be the one to tell that. So,
I'm
CJ,
excited.
I'll let you go first, just because I know you are excited about this one.
So first, let me start by doing this.
Oh, did it? No way.
I
Love
was
it.
over the moon when I saw this was your pick because I am a massive fan of Blue October, of Justin, particularly his journey. Listening to you talk about your life, being in foster care, being in the National Guard, 31 foster homes in 3.5 years for me. Served in the National Guard and the regular Army, 2 different stints, 20 years apart. Why, after being in the regular Army in the late 80s and early 90s, I decided to go back in 2009 to serve in the National Guard. And the craziest story, I have to tell the story because it's really the most unbelievable thing. One of the drill sergeants I had in Fort Dix, New Jersey in 1989, with Drill Sergeant Johnson. And this was 1989. And when I went back in 2009, because it had been so long, they said, you have to redo basic training. So, basic training at Fort Knox, Tennessee. I walk in. Second day, when they do the formal stuff, we're in the room, we're sitting there at the table, and the door's open, and these people walk in, and I turn around, and I just was like, no fucking possible human way. And they walk to the front of the class, and they line up. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, how in the fuck did I end up with the same drill sergeant 21 years apart on opposite sides of the country? And he started walking back and forth, and he stops at me, and he looks at me, and he took 3 steps, and he turned around, and he looked back at me, and said, Private, do you have a brother? I said, no, dear Sergeant Brown. He said, are you sure? He said, you look awfully goddamn familiar. I said, I'm sure I do, Drill Sergeant. He said, why do you look familiar? Fort Dix, New Jersey, 3rd Company, 2nd Battalion, 1st Platoon. He smiled. He looked at me. And he goes, "You were Cadero's boy." Yeah. He goes, "You still a fuck up?" Obviously, I'm still a fuck up because somehow I managed to get you 21 years apart at 2 different bases. No fucking idea how. And he just laughed and he goes, "We're going to have fun together." And I was like, bitch, my whole plan the second time, I learned from the first time. Don't try to be the hero. That's what I wanted to be the first time. I wanted to be fucking hero. I wanted to be first in everything, which makes the drill sergeants pay attention to you. So the second time, I was like, okay, I'm going to be all the way at the back. I'm going to be the quiet motherfucker that nobody even knows is there. From that second on, every time he walked in there in 166 people, "Where's Private Plane? He needs to be up front." Motherfucker, son of a bitch. And it was just like, I got no peace at all, dude. And it was like, okay, I pissed somebody off in a former life. This is my karma, obviously. But anyways, back to Justin. I'm a massive fan of Justin. So this was, next to you picking Home.
Yeah.
This is as perfect of a choice as anyone could make for me. So,
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love the tattoo. That's good. Good ink.
Yeah, that's I'm going to see them in November, and I'm buying the VIP, and I really hope I can get Justin to sign it so that I can have the other part to it, but
Yeah.
I just want him to know, like you said, what his music and his lyrics and his journey mean to somebody who has been in the same exact place.
Yeah.
The breakdowns at 3 a.m,
Yeah.
fighting for custody of your kids, going through a brutal divorce,
Yeah.
Being diagnosed as bipolar with intermittent explosive disorder. So I feel his lyrics to the very, very bottom of my soul, man. So thank you for an amazing choice.
Thank you.
And before I give my opinion, hey, Jonathan, thank you for watching. I know you put that up a while ago. I just wanted to wait for a good moment to get in a breakdown. But, okay. When I first started listening to the samples of this album, when you first sent it, at first I was like, oh God, no. Oh God, no. Not one of these guys. Not one of these types of albums. And I listened to it this morning, first thing. As soon as I got to work, I put it on when I started going through my emails. Might not have been the best time of day to listen to an album like this, just saying. But I found that out the hard way. Because this album depressed the fucking shit out of me. Like, even at the end, I'm still depressed at the end of it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, he has a good voice. I never really got into Blue October. I don't think I ever gave him a chance. I might know 1-2 songs they did, maybe if they were popular enough and I've heard them on radio and whatnot. But I never really, nobody ever really said to me, hey, listen to Blue October. Like, that never happened. So, they never really crossed my path. This album is definitely different. I mean, when it went to that second track and all of a sudden it's like him talking from an audience, I'm like, did this put some kind of playlist on instead or something? I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, is this a comedy album now? So I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right, does this guy do stand-up comedy in between his songs? Is he that kind of like performer? And I was like, all right, this isn't stand-up comedy. After like hearing like a couple minutes, I'm like, this is not stand-up comedy. Okay, I mean, it is in a way, but it's not. It's life. It's his life story. And as the album went on, I kind of got the gist of what it was about more. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I listened. It was a freaking long album. I listened to all of it. I honestly don't. I can't say. I don't think I added one song onto my Spotify like list because it wasn't hitting me. I may have to go back and visit it again, maybe later in the day when I'm more perky and more awake and not like already pissed off because I'm at work and it's the morning. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I could definitely relate to a lot of the topics he hit on in ways. I could definitely I've been where he's been some points, not definitely not all of them. Like my life never got that bad, thank the fucking Lord. But it's some points he's been on. I mean, I think any man could relate to some point of his album. There's some point there where they could say, I've been there, I've done that. So I think it's an album that definitely need to get made. But I can't say I loved it. It was definitely good. It was definitely good. Something I'm glad I heard once at least. But can't say it's something I'm gonna go back and blast in my stereo in my car while I'm driving because I might get put on some lists. But
No,
but
it's a funny thing, dude. My friend Laura in Arkansas told me, she got me into Blue October. She said, listen to this band. And the first time I listened to it, my reaction was, this is the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life. Why the fuck would anyone listen to this?
Yeah.
And she goes, you're just not in the right frame of mind. And I'm like, there is no correct frame of mind to listen to whatever the fuck this is. And
can I ask what album it was?
I don't even remember. It was one of the early ones.
Yeah.
And I didn't go back to it. She hounded me and hounded me and hounded me. And then I had a playlist of something else. And I was laying in bed one night with the lights off and the song come on. And I thought, like, fuck, that's an amazing goddamn song. Who the fuck is that? And I picked up my phone and I looked at it and I thought, motherfucker. So I looked at the album. So I put that album on. And as I'm listening to the record, I'm just like, holy fuck, this is just one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard. And my first thought was, fucking hate you, Laura. I really fucking hate you. And she was right. Like, you kind of have to be in a headspace to connect, because he's definitely not for everybody. You know, his topics are very deep. Some of his songs are extremely dark. One of the songs I have is called The End. And
yeah, The End is his darkest for sure.
Yeah, like going in and like killing. It's a story about him sneaking in and killing his ex-wife and her new husband in their bed, basically, and then shooting himself. So I mean, he's got really, really dark shit. So,
ooh,
you know, you kind of.
So maybe I would have. I think I would have probably dug this album a lot, like 15 years ago. The headspace I was in back then, I think I would have really dug this album.
That's what I'm saying.
Heard
like,
then.
It really is, because it took me more than a few listens to. But once I connected to it, it was just kind of like I've never turned back. And when they released Home, to see where Justin was at Every Man in America and seeing where he was at Home, it was such a miraculous turnaround, man. It's living proof that no matter how deep you are down, how dark it is, there is a way to claw your way back towards normalcy, you know. So, you know, don't give up on.
I mean, it's
like, don't give up on Blue October, man. Like,
yeah.
Okay, well, let's just hope I don't get in that headspace where I need it. But yeah,
right.
I ain't put any bad juju on myself here. But the me in college that was writing horrorcore raps about basically the same topics would have probably freaking been in love with this album. I honestly could see that. But then again, I also like that type of music to like faster, sometimes heavier beats, like and guitar and whatnot. So I mean, I don't know. Who knows? In a different life, maybe. But what are your top 5 tracks off the album, there, Tony? I gotta hit this for you and CJ. This is gonna be an interesting battle, I think.
Yeah, I'm very interested. So I actually only picked top 5, and then I heard you guys do honorable mentions in another one. So I'm gonna throw some honorable mentions out real quick. First and foremost is "Hate Me." That's gonna be on honorable mentions. It's their biggest hit ever, but it's got to go on the honorable mentions on this one. Worry list is huge, and then schizophrenia is also a very big deal. So we're gonna start off at number 5. It's The Sound of Pulling Heaven Down. I'm a lyric guy. I write and record music. I'm sitting in my home studio that I'm building right now, and some of his best lyrics that he's ever written are in Sound of Pulling Heaven Down. I wish I wrote When Hell is Jealous of the Rain. I wish I wrote that. It's just a poetic. So Justin, he went to like an art school in high school. So like the theatrics and the drama that you see, that's where it's all coming from. So yeah, number 5, Sound of Pulling Heaven Down. Number 4 is Chameleon Boy. And kind of going back to CJ's point, and I'm going to bring this up again later on Ray Wilson, but he asked the question, he's like, where did all those idols end up? They've all passed away. And like most rock stars, most of my heroes they haven't made it out alive. They died of drug overdoses. They died of suicide. Chester Bennington, Kurt Cobain, you name, like all my heroes are dead for the most part. And so for Justin to write something that powerful so early in his catalog and basically make it to the other side, he just unbelievable. And then that whole like adapting to your environment, I think it's a cautionary tale. Like, hey, you can't be adaptive. You need to be who you are, and you need to stay true to who you are and not who everyone else wants you to be. Number 3 is Black Orchid. The End is by far Blue October's darkest song, but Black Orchid is a very close second. It's like I said before, you can't listen to it straight through, but the second song on the album, right after The Answer, is him as a high school student, coming to grips with his depression and the way that he felt. So it was just huge song. Number 2 is Calling You. I have a little story, a little primer for you, CJ, as you go see him. So Calling You is my youngest son, who he was born with heart issues, and it's his favorite song on the planet. I used to rock him to sleep to Calling You almost every night, and he wouldn't go to sleep until I would play it, the acoustic version, and sing it to him. So we took him to a Blue October concert in Lubbock, Texas, a couple years ago. And they had a meet and greet after. It wasn't even a VIP thing. They're like, hey, we want to meet you guys. And they lined up. We had kids, so we went all the way to the back. This was like 11:30 at night. And my son, we made these cardboard signs, and I drew a picture of Justin. And we already knew the set list didn't have Calling You, but we wanted the sign. And so as we approached near the end, he walked up to the booth, and him and Jordan were there signing. And my son started singing Calling You to Justin, like right there. And the whole lobby broke out in Calling You. This unbelievable. Awesome. And Justin's like, I have a picture of my Instagram of this, but he's like, I have to take a picture with this kid. This kid is unbelievable. And he's a father, family man now. And just the way he lit up around my son and the way that he just took this tender care. And as we walked away, my son started singing it again, and they, again, a second time, blew up the whole lobby. So Calling You is huge. It's huge for my family. It's huge in my journey, and my son loves it. It was one of those times I couldn't even bring a camera out. I just had to live the moment.
Yeah.
And then number 1 is Not Broken Anymore. In some of the other ones, if you go on YouTube, you can see live performances. He says no one wants to watch you circle the drain forever. And the redemption arc of knowing that he went through the suicide ideation, the schizophrenic episodes, the divorce, and to wrap it up with, hey, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm healed. I'm better. And then you start to see Home, and you start to see I Hope You're Happy, and you start to see the other thing, and it's just such a great ending to a dark story. And it's unbelievable. I think it's exclamation point to the album, and it's got to be number 1. So that's where I'm at.
And here comes the interesting part of this. CJ, what are your top 5?
So my honorable mentions, first off, Any Man in America is a brilliant, powerful song. But on this, the way he does it as a spoken word,
Yeah.
kind of puts a different twist on it. And Justin has done a number of tours where he's done intimate shows, and he's even done some in like living rooms of fans that have won contests, which would be like just unbelievable to to win something like that would just be beyond. I don't even think I would have words. But Worry List is also an honorable mention. Number 5 is Calling You. Number 4 is Sound of Pulling Heaven Down. Number 3 is Hate Me. It just, the way he sings it, it's really one of his more perfect songs. Number 2 is The Answer. I really connect. But number 1, like he said, Not Broken Anymore is just, it's that song that really, again, like Home, it tells you that, you can get back. I mean, you have to work on it. You have to do stuff, but it's not hopeless. It's not the end, so to speak. No pun intended. Because I mean, this guy went from having a complete mental breakdown in an airport in Minneapolis at 3 a.m. and being institutionalized to being clean and sober and writing a song about dancing in the kitchen with his wife and children in a matter of 3.5 years. So, like I say, music heals, because, are we discussing this if Justin doesn't have music, if I don't have music, if a lot of other people don't have music? I've said it once, and people, when I say it, people are like, oh, that's funny. And I tell it as a joke. If I didn't have music, I'm that guy you see on the news.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yeah,
Truth.
it's funny. But I'm letting you know, I don't have music. I'm on the top 10 most wanted list for the FBI. Okay. Like, it's just that fucking simple. I mean, and I don't want to hurt anyone, but I'm letting you know, if I don't have music to calm that raging beast, it really is what keeps me off that ledge, or off that edge. So, it just is what it is. So,
yeah, definitely is. And I mean, I agree. I mean, if it wasn't already brought in the show a few months ago, I totally would have brought Heroin Diaries by 6 a.m. to go against this. I know CJ would have had a fucking field day, but
good one.
Because I mean, it literally is like almost the same album, just sung differently and a different story, but it's the same theme of like breaking down and
believe it or not, yeah. As much as I hate Nikki Sixx, I love 6 a.m. and I love their records. I'm a massive fan of DJ Ajba, so I really, with 6 a.m. I kind of have to take that dislike of Nikki and just sort of push it aside and let the music be what the music is, and not let it affect. Because I mean, my daughter, when she was born, when she died after 4 days, the song Skin, I can't listen to that song without just completely breaking down. It's just one of them songs. To have a baby daughter born with trisomy 13, cleft lip, skull not fully formed, all of that, and then you hear this band singing "You Are Not Your Skin," show them the angel you are within. It breaks me, man. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, as James said, the words mean everything to me, as Brian Wilson would say. So, I mean, it's the words. But see, like I said, I feel like if I listen to this album again, I would have more of an impact on me. Maybe I'm gonna give it a while, then go back to it and be like, I gotta give this one more shot. But there were three songs that I really, really, really connected with. Number three was Chameleon Boy. That song was really freaking a great way to open the album, kind of. Number two was Schizophrenia, just because it was a beautiful song. I mean, I can't relate to the matter at hand really at all, but it's a beautiful song regardless. And my number one was Black Orchid. That song stuck the hell out to me so much. I actually really liked that song. Like Black Orchid was a really good song. So I mean, I couldn't even pick a top five of it. 'Cause I didn't want to pick the freaking spoken word bits. I thought that was kind of cheating, so I didn't want to do that. But yeah, it's just I don't know. I didn't want to do that. But yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe as I get older, it'll have more meaning to me. Maybe. Hopefully for not the reasons it would have means to me for some people, but we'll see. We'll see what life brings us eventually. But CJ, what album did you want to bring to match with Justin here?
So as soon as I saw his pick, it kind of was a challenge to me because I got to find a record that has some kind of impact similar to a record that is really, really hard to match on that level. Like Blue October, like when you start trying to find a band or an artist that has that same kind of lyrical impact, it's really, really hard. This is one of those records to me. Ray Wilson, some people know him, some people don't. I believe he's grossly underrated. I think he's a brilliant singer and songwriter and should be universally loved and known. But again, my opinion. So I brought Ray Wilson Song for a Friend. I wrote songs, but it's Song for a Friend from 2016. So,
Which Tony, what did you think of this album? Are you familiar with Ray Wilson or no?
I was not. I was pleasantly surprised. This album had a lot of the same intimacy as Justin did, in my opinion. Like it had this feeling like sit at Ray's feet and hear him talk. You know, that it had that. I'm a '90s country guy, like so it had that feel. And then, like I said before, most of my heroes are dead. You can tell this guy has grunge influence, like massively. So when you look at like the big 4 or 5, your Eddie Vedder, Kurt Cobain, Chris Cornell, Scott Weiland, you look at all Lane Staley. Sorry, almost forgot Lane. You look at those guys; they didn't make it out alive. And so, like Justin said, he brings the same grunge sensibility, but he brings this maturity with it that is grunge all grown up. Is what I kind of called this album. I kept thinking. So my top 5 was number 5 is Trident.
Hold for that. We'll get to that in a minute. It's all good. But yeah, as far as Ray Wilson goes, I never heard of him. Never knew the name. Never heard one inkling of him in my life. I actually I listened to this album after I listened to Justin's. So I was depressed as fuck when I went into this album, and it kind of uplifted me in a way. Like it kind of like the songs. I mean, yes, it's the same theme almost in a way, but the songs are more like positive sounding. I don't know if that's even like a way to describe it, but they sound more. They uplift you a little bit more. They're just more positive. The guitar is a little more like happy sounding. So it's if I'm not mistaken, he's Irish, I think.
Scottish.
Oh, even better. I'm part Scottish. That was even better. But so like I love any music from that part of the world. Like I always can relate to it, and I always can like kind of mold with it and meld with it in some ways. It's just like, it's something about it, and certain elements of some of these songs are freaking amazing. So I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna go back and check out his whole discography because I don't. I mean, it's not something I'm dying to do, but yeah, maybe someday if I actually am looking for music, if I'm trying to find music someday, maybe I will go back to him as well. But I enjoyed the shit out of the city though. I mean, I definitely could get in with it more than Justin. I actually threw a few of these songs into my like list on Spotify. I'm like, all right, if this comes on while I'm driving, I'm not gonna like go crash into another car or a building just to make it stop. So I can definitely dig this music for her other times. So yeah, I even had honorable mention for this one. So it was it was a good album. I was happy you brought it. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, please don't give me the same thing again. Please don't. I think if I get any more depressed today, I might just have to go to the roof of the building and take a little leak. But yeah, and I wasn't even that tired this morning too. That's the thing that killed me. I was like, I'm not even freaking that tired today, and this shit's really bringing me down. What the fuck? But yeah, it was the way I listened to them, and I did that on purpose because I had a feeling. The way I listened to them kind of made me it reversed the effects. So, but okay, now Tony, what were your top 5 from Ray's album?
Sorry, I'm new here.
It's all good.
So number 5, Tried and Failed. Really, really good. I think I like lyrics, and I really liked I'm not about to become another Tried and Failed. That whole like just seeing something and knowing that it's not good for you and just avoiding it. And that sax solo, that is some sexy saxophone right there. Number 4, Parallel Souls. This is when I talk about sitting on the porch. Parallel Souls was it. Like I just felt like, yeah, it's just so intimate, and that Two Lies hook that he's singing, just awesome. Number 3, Cold Light of Day. To me, this was the best guitar work on the album for sure. Just really vibing with the guitar, and there's again some wisdom there. Like not burning bridges and forgiving people and just keeping things clean. Number 2, Old Book on the Shelf. I think unbelievable opener. Just the comparison of him and his life, and you just see him in the lyrics when he's just talking about a book, and the bookmark and being warm. And then number 1 as How Long Is Too Long. And to me, this is How Long Is Too Long is the most well-rounded. It's not intended to be, but it has like this sultry, like almost sexy feel to it, even though that's not what it's about. It's just overall just a great sounding song, just a cool vibe, and I really liked it.
Oh shit. CJ, what about you, buddy?
All right. So let me give a little background here. You're correct on the grunge influence. He actually had a band called Stiltskin in his early days that was very similar to like sort of a Pearl Jam-ish. After Phil Collins left Genesis, he was actually who Genesis chose to be the new singer for one record, the Calling All Stations record. He was always a Pink Floyd fan, so after Stiltskin broke up and Genesis sort of threw him to the curve because the fans were all like, he's not Phil Collins, blah, blah, blah. And instead of listening to the record, which was a really phenomenal record, but yes, he's not Phil Collins. He never tried to be Phil Collins.
Why would you want to be Phil Collins? Jesus Christ.
Well,
I mean,
the fans didn't buy into it, and the band sort of broke up and stopped recording at that point. And Ray went. Ray lives in Poland now. He is married to a famous ballerina, Polish ballerina. So they live in Warsaw. This record was actually released at the same time as Makes Me Think of Home. So he put 2 records out at the same time, almost 36 songs between the 2 records. And they're kind of similar in tone. So with all that said, this was the more introspective one. Makes Me Think of Home kind of has more of a Pink Floyd Division Bell-ish tone. So for me, this particular record, number 5 is Well, honorable mention is Cold Light of Day. Is a great song. Number 5 is Backseat Driving. Number 4 is Tried and Failed. Number 3 is Old Book on the Shelf. To me, that's just a classic example of old school storytelling. You know, it's got that sort of James Taylor, Fogelberg type of even Garth Brooks almost, really. You mentioned Garth Brooks, almost Garth Brooks kind of. I mean, it's not a country song, but it has that style of telling a story. Number 2 is Song for a Friend. But my favorite one, and it was weird it was on this record as opposed to Makes Me Think of Home, since that one was the one that was really very, very Floyd-like, is his cover of High Hopes. And the similarities also, Ray does a lot of shows that are very intimate, very acoustic, where he performs both Genesis and Pink Floyd music as like I don't want to call it a tribute thing, but it's sort of a tribute thing at this point. And a number of these shows, he's actually performed with Steve Hackett, who is the original guitar player for Genesis, the one who wrote Lion Lays Down on Broadway and, you know, a lot of the Dinner's Ready. a lot of stuff, the early stuff that made Genesis famous. The fans didn't take to him as a Genesis singer, but the former guys like Peter Gabriel and Steve Hackett have sort of adopted him and performed shows with him. So, you know, even when the fans didn't like him, all the Genesis guys have kind of said, you're okay with us. So, yeah, I'm a massive fan of Ray, and I think people should know him. But he's got a bunch of other stuff. He's got a band called Millionaire Head. He's got Still Skin. He's got a solo stuff. I believe there's also one called, oh God, what's the other one? Genesis Revisited is the other one he does with Steve Hackett, where they do the Genesis stuff. So, I mean, he plays a ton of shows. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely impressed me today a little bit. Like I said, I had an honorable mention, Backseat Driving honorable mention, because I love that line, "Who on earth is listening to you? It isn't me." Like, that's funny as hell. Like, I enjoy that. My number 5 was the Teletrack Song for a Friend. It's a really good song. Number 4 was How Long Is Too Long. Mainly because I was just thinking about, I was thinking about what I was going to use it for in the intro today. So I'm like, I can use that song title for something good. So I'm thinking of that the whole time I'm listening to it. So I enjoyed it for that. My number 3 was High Hopes. That was a really good song. Didn't realize it was a cover, but
it's a Pink Floyd cover.
Well, that's why I don't realize I fucking hate Pink Floyd. But
I'm
number
surprised
2,
you didn't know that. That's one of Nightwish's most famous cover songs they've done.
Their song is Higher Than Hope, not High Hopes.
No, that's High Hopes, dude. It's the Pink Floyd cover because Tomas is singing it as opposed to everyone else. It's the only song that Tomas sings for Nightwish.
Have I even heard? Oh, maybe I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I've heard that.
Popular.
I know they have a. I know they do covers. Symphony Destruction's.
Well, I made the mistake on a reaction of doing a reaction to that and commenting that I didn't think Tomas had the right voice. It was a very serviceable couple, but I thought Tomas's voice wasn't as good as, say, Troy's or Marco's would have been on it. Ooh, bad mistake, bro. Nightwish fans fucking roasted my ass fierce. You don't know nothing about music. You're fucking blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, if I know anybody, bitch, I know Pink Floyd. Okay, 166 records, 47 shirts, posters. I know Floyd. My email address is literally floydiandreams@hotmail.com. Like, calm down there, Boomer. Sorry I didn't like the cover, but
Yeah, I mean, it's. I never can get into Floyd. Another Brick in the Wall is like the only song they ever did I actually liked. But my number 2 was Over My Dead Body. Are you living with regrets, smoking cigarettes, staring into space? I've done that a lot. So like that's a lot of nights in my life just sitting outside in a chair or on the porch, just fucking like smoking cigarette, looking into space, like fucking yeah, hell yeah. And number 1 was Tried and Failed. The trumpet in that song, at least I think it was trumpet. I couldn't tell. I was like going back and forth between trumpet and saxophone for a minute, but I believe it was trumpet. Like it's amazing. I listen for that type of shit in music, and when I hear like any kind of brass or woodwind instrument, I freaking love it. So as
so that
as
was
we all
go ahead.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I was
I was
saying,
gonna
as
say that was
anybody
recorded by. Sorry.
motherfucker. As anybody who listened to the last episode knows, when we talked about Stardust, that type of adding shit into music is phenomenal. But go ahead, CG.
I was going to say that part was actually recorded by the conductor of his wife's ballet company. So.
So what is it? Is it a saxophone or a trumpet? Because I thought
I'm not sure. I just know that it says Svetlana's. Yeah, it just says Svetlana's conductor played the instruments for that, other than the guitar. So, because his wife is gorgeous. His wife is she's definitely built to be a ballerina, dude.
Yeah.
I can 100% see why he. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, looking at his album cover, I'm like, he's a decent looking guy. So I could believe he has a good looking wife. Like, it's not like he's no Jim Crochet or something.
No, I was gonna say I can see why he packed up and left Scotland though to go to Poland.
Oh yeah.
So.
But well, Tony, you go over there, Tony? Kind of blacked out on us. He's working on it apparently. But technical issues, folks. Technical issues. Oh, okay. Internet connection issue. He probably backed out. He probably is backing out and going back in. But yeah, you impressed me with this album. I don't know. I might have to go back and when I saw Stillskin, I'm like, I kind of want to check that out. That sounds like a metalish band.
That's more. It's more. It is. It's very hard rockish, but it's got a grunge feel to it. It's kind of a cross between what do I want to say? It's kind of a cross between it's kind of a cross between like a Pearl Jam and
yeah, it's not making me like it so far.
Something along that line. It's got that sort of. It's got that sort of Pearl Jam tone, or sort of almost like what I can't think of the other band. I'm thinking there's another Seattle band.
Don't say Nirvana.
No, it's not Nirvana. It's
Mudhoney.
Oh god damn it! It's gonna piss me off now.
Well, CJ figures that out. And yeah, please say something besides Pearl Jam, because Pearl Jam is not one of my favorite.
No, it's not Pearl Jam. It's
all right. Thank God. Thank God. I'm not a huge fan. I'm not a huge Pearl Jam fan. They're okay, but I'm not. I can't listen to them for long. But while he's doing that, it was time for me to take it down.
Candlebox. That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah.
That's sort of a Candlebox tone.
never really listened. I know who they are. I just never really listened to them that much either. But so it came time for me to pick an album for this week, and when I got Tony's choice, I was like listening to it. I'm like, who the fuck am I matching this against? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I can't think of any music I really listen to that really relates. Like, it matches up with this like singing style or this slowness. I'm like, yeah. I looked at the year. Actually, no, I didn't even look at the year for this one because I was just like, you know what? I'm like, this is the this is the singer from a band doing a solo album. I'm like, I'm gonna go off that, and I'm gonna pick another singer from a band doing a solo album. And I was like, you know what? I've been trying to bring on this album on the show for the last fucking 6, 7 months it came out, and I haven't had the opportunity yet because nothing really hit it, like struck me to bring it on yet. And I was like, it's time. It's freaking time because I've been rocking out this album since the day Dave came out. So I decided to bring the former bass player and lead male singer of Nightwish, Marco Hietala's "Roses from the Deep" album, his newest solo album. He's done two of them, but this is the newest one. Um, it's the better one in my opinion. But I freaking love this album. I think he did an amazing job. His voice is so freaking good, and I think it's him playing lead guitar in it too. And the guitar in it is phenomenal, like throughout the whole CD. So I had to I had to bring it. I'm like, I already know CJ's gonna like it. So I'm like, I'll see what the guest thinks, but I know CJ's gonna like it. So I'm like, I gotta bring this. I haven't brought it yet, and it's kind of a fucking shame. Also, I haven't brought the newest Nightwish album, but I'm also not in a hurry to do that for reasons. But I'm sure CJ knows what I'm talking about. But Tony, what did you think of Marco?
So I'm honestly not big into symphonic metal or Nightwish. So if you guys have people who don't, I don't want to get assassinated after this, after CJ. But
Trust me, we don't have that many. We don't have that many Nightwish fans.
okay. Yeah. So I had not honestly hadn't heard of them, but I it's got a lot of that epic fantasy type stuff. It takes the whole symphonic metal and pushes it into the heavy metal territory, I thought. And I think that's pretty interesting. I unbelievable guitar. The guitar had me hooked the whole time. But being a lyric guy, I didn't really catch a lot of like memorable lyrical moments. So you'll probably have to correct me on that later. But there were a lot of times where he hooked me with something brilliant lyrically.
It's he didn't go, in my opinion, he didn't go in a Nightwish like style with his lyrics. He wanted to go more old school like 80s metal, where it's about the chorus. It's about the chorus, and I feel like he had really good hooks and choruses. So I feel like he nailed that. Like if he was going for that 80s metal appeal, I think he nailed it. That's what feels like he was going for. I could be 100% wrong. Not like I ever talked to the man, but that's my feeling on it. I don't know, but let me see what the music god has to say about it. Maybe he'll correct me.
So, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. This is a record that, on the musical side, I absolutely love and adore. I am not a fan of Marco's voice as a singer. When he sang with Nightwish and he was combined with Anna or Floor, it worked as a combo. I don't think Marco is a strong enough singer to carry an entire record by himself. Like, he wouldn't be my choice as the lead singer. He's not terrible. I'm not saying he's terrible, but I think these songs would be so much better if he had an actual singer, which, one of the songs is a perfect demonstration of.
Yep.
So,
I
like the record. I like Marco as a person. I think he's a phenomenal person. I think he's a phenomenal bass player, songwriter. I love the work that he does with his brother in the band Tarot, which is kind of more of a pure metal. It kind of gets away from the symphonic sound and goes more towards just like a more Priest or whatnot.
80s, yeah.
Well, just a pure metal. I won't call it 80s metal because it's pretty modern sounding, but it's more of like a Halloween or a Judas Priest or a Blind Guardian without the fantasy type lyrics. But it's him and his brother's band, and they haven't done it in a while. He's also part of
Northern Kings.
Northern Kings.
I brought them on the show for an episode. They did not get love. But
Northern Kings are a band that takes a whole nother show because, again, too many chefs in the kitchen. Let me just put it with Northern Kings.
Yeah.
Too many chiefs, not enough Indians, too many cooks in the kitchen type of situation with them,
Yeah.
What could have been great just was too much.
And why they decided to be a straight cover band, I don't know. They could have done, if they did original tracks, they could have been huge. I think that's the biggest problem is they had no creative output because they were just covering songs. The only thing they could really change is the way they sang them and maybe the way they play them
songs
slightly.
They chose to sing were also an issue. Like Marco trying to sing Journey was just like
it hurt.
That's a questionable band for anyone to sing, especially someone that sounds like Marco with a deep voice. Like that's just not.
Yeah, I don't know who sung it, but their version of "Kiss from a Rose" is amazing. But
that was also Marco.
I feel on that one. I feel like he did a decent job though.
But that's what I'm saying. It's more in line with his voice, as opposed to, voices have ranges, dude. And that would be like me trying to sing Hank Sr. It's just not going to happen. I'm not that kind of singer. I'm a screamer. I can do Priest all day long, but don't ask me to sing melody because you're not going to like the result. So,
but Marco is. He's but that's the thing with Nightwish. I always loved the songs he had vocal in, like his verse on Planet Hell is freaking phenomenal. So I always liked his voice. Like, yeah, he definitely killed the Journey song. Don't get me wrong, he definitely killed that. Oh my god! But I think I skipped that song every time I listen to that. Every time that comes up, I'm like skipping that song. But so I had two honorable mentions for this album. I honestly had to stop myself because I could have kept going. But I'm like, all right, chill the fuck out and stop putting so many songs on your list. It's a good album, but it's not like that legendary where you need to put every song on the list. But my first honorable mention was Rebel of the North, which freaking the guitar work on it, mainly for guitar work. The guitar work's really good. The lyrics are decent. None that really stuck out to me, but they were decent. My other one was Impatient Zero, which wasn't actually, that's the last thing I had to my list. And actually, it was that only after hearing the second version of it that I heard the lyrics again. And I'm like, I could dig this. I'm like, I'm digging this song. Like, I knew I liked it, but I just didn't want to put it in the list. And then I'm like, I heard it again. And I was like, I'm like, the whole thing about like angels falling. And I'm like, I like this song. Throw in some freaking heaven fantasy lyrics. And I'm like, all right, fuck. Now I got to like this song a little bit. But my number 5, and honestly, this song could be my number 1, but my number 5 is Proud Whore. I love that fucking song. The lyrics in that song are phenomenal. The drums in it are amazing as well. It's the one song where the drums really stick out in this whole album. My number 4 was The Devil You Know, because it's just a really good song. The guitar is perfect on it, and like the theme behind the lyrics is really good as well. Like you said, none that really like. There's no one-liners draw you and you're like, ooh, that's perfect. It's just a really good metal song. My number 3 was Left on Mars, and CJ kind of brought up this for a second because Left on Mars, Terra's on it, and anything Terra's on,
it's Tarja.
Tarja. What I wanted to say that, but I didn't want to fuck it up, so I was like, yeah. But the J is silent. The J is silent.
So many people that are like Terra or Tarja. It's like Tarja.
I didn't want to say Tarja. That's why I didn't say it. But Talia's voice is always phenomenal, and anything she does, I love her solo work. I love her Nightwish time. Anything she does, I can listen to. So seeing her and Marco finally together again and Left on Mars, because it's really like the second or third time they worked together since she left Nightwish, because there was a grudge there for a minute. So they do that song together so perfectly, and the way they end it almost sounds like a musical number. So it's just phenomenal. I always have loved that song, and the video is pretty cool. My number two was Frankenstein's Wife because that was the first single off this album I heard, and I am a huge horror movie buff, a new horror movie buff, but I'm definitely getting my stats in. But I I always was fascinated, especially when I went through a Universal monster movie watch through like back in Decemberish. So I watched like all the Frankenstein movies, all the original ones, and this song meant so much more to me after seeing those movies. Like it kind of hits on that theme perfectly. Even the like the spooky synthesizer music, like in the background of it, like makes it sound like the old movies a little bit. It's a great song, and I think it's a good love song, really. Like my darling, I'll be your lightning. Like that's perfect. And I love the way he says Frankenstein's wife. Like he hits that note perfectly, and in the guitar when the guitar slams in, it's like oof. Like the riff on that one was freaking phenomenal. Almost, almost remind me of Lordy in a way, but with the guitar. But my number one was "The Dragon Must Die" because of the freaking guitar in that song is one of the best guitar. Some of the best guitar playing I've ever heard is that song. It's just there's barely any lyrics in it. It's just more guitar for 8 minutes, and it's freaking phenomenal. Like you could tell he just like picked it up and he's like, all right, we're doing this and we're not putting it down until we get it. And he just hit it in one hit. He's like, nice. He's like, yep, like that was a moment. That was a moment. Like I could totally see that song being like that. It's just, and I like anything that's to do with dragons. I mean, I like fantasy metal. I like fantasy rock. So anything that's to do with dragons is amazing. I thought for a hot second, CJ, that the song he did with Patty Gurdy was on this album, but I forgot it was on hers. But what were your top five for this album, Tony? I'll shut the hell up now.
No, so when you talk about the dragon, and I kind of put it next to mine, I'm like, I think he's going for like famous lead singers going solo, but I was like, is the dragon a metaphor for like a pink dragon? Is he talking about? So I had to abandon that, but
No,
I didn't have any.
It's not an album about chasing the dragon. No.
Straight up, I figured out after a second listen, I'm like, he's talking about a real dragon. This is Eternal War right here. So for number 5, I picked Left on Mars. I agree wholeheartedly with you. I believed the duet between him and Tarja was fantastic. And the cinematic elements, which is funny because I'm not big into symphonic metal, but the cinematic elements of this particular song just held it together really well. Number 4 was Two Soldiers. And I think CJ was referring to this one. The lower male vocal in that just kind of helped tie everything together. Number 3, Impatient Zero. You guys are going to love this. I put it on the list because I kept hearing Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. Like as I was listening to the song, I'm like, this almost sounds like a ripoff of Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin. Super groovy. The guitar or the solo is very like Jordan Rudess-esque. It's got like a Dream Theater-y type element to it. Number 2, Roses from the Deep. This is the only lyrics that actually caught my attention. So when he says color creeps in as you turn gray, and then the whole what did he say? I never told you I would come for you. Like I thought that was, like, hey, I just fought this battle and you waited for me. That kind of moved me a little bit. And then number 1 is Proud Horror. That filthy guitar riff, just filthy. I had to listen to that song multiple times. It's just awesome, well-rounded song, but filthy groovy guitars, and that's what I care about. So good song.
I actually sent that song to my coworker Joe, and I'm like, this is gonna be your new karaoke song. Familiarize it. Like I'm like I would die seeing the video of that. I really would. But I don't know. I almost forgot. I forgot about Proud Horror when I picked this album because I've heard this. I haven't heard the whole album in a while, and I forgot about that song. I was like, oh, how did I forget about this? But all these songs are my life. I mean, I could have picked Roses from the Deep. I wanted to put in the list too, but by the time I got to that one, I was just like, list is too long. I can leave this off. But it's Two Soldiers is like only like the really song on this whole album I really don't dig too much. It's on my like list, I'm pretty sure, but I just don't dig it too much. It's just I don't know. I can't get into it like I do the other ones. But CJ, what were your top 5?
So let me first say that guitar solo was actually Tomas from Nightwish.
Oh no shit.
Yeah. So he actually recorded that for them. And I get in trouble because I am not a fan of Tarja's vocals. I hate the way she was thrown out of the band. But I'm completely okay with the new singers. Like, I think both of the singers after her are so much better. But
yeah,
I know I'm of this single opinion of that.
No,
so I keep that opinion to myself.
I don't think any of them are better. I think it's just different styles completely.
Yeah.
You keep saying you don't want to get in trouble, and then you keep saying, like, you keep digging.
Like, Anna has the
somebody's
more
gonna
melodic
burn you at the
voice.
cross, man.
Floor has the voice that can do both. So Floor Jansen really is the perfect singer for Nightwish.
Yeah.
But, so for me, I had 4 songs off of this record that, stood out above the rest for me. First one was Impatient Zero. Musically, I think it's just a great song. It's got a massive groove to it. Number 3 is The Devil You Know. But my favorite 2 were, ironically, the slower songs. I like Marco more on the like folkish type of stuff than, like he really has a knack for playing really beautiful, epic stuff when he kind of just sits back and goes sort of Lord of the Rings ish. So number 2 for me is Roses from the Deep. But my favorite one is Two Soldiers. It's got JP Lapaluto, who was the lead singer of Sharon and also Poison Black. And Poison Black is one of those bands that JP's solo writing is very dark and very sardonic. He writes songs sort of, he's sort of like if Nightwish wrote a Wednesday 13 record, that's kind of what JP does. So he writes songs like The Luxury of Her Grave, Excuse Me Why I Kill Myself. His songs are very double meaning, very sardonic, but very dark, twisted sort of connotations where he talks about death, but he does it with a sense of humor, almost. And this was one of those songs where he got away from that. And JP's got an amazing voice. And I stand on this mountain and say, if JP would have done the vocals for this whole record and just let Marco perform, this would have been almost a perfect record. Really. Like, I mean, I love JP, but Tony Kessel of Sonata Arctica would have been a great singer on here. It just needed a vocalist who kind of does this.
I could actually now you got me thinking about it. And Chris Harms, Lord of the Lost.
Yes,
if he sang these, I could see him doing this album. I could really see him doing this album.
I agree. I'm not saying Marco's a bad singer. He's really not a terrible singer, but I don't think he has a voice to carry a whole record. Again, with Nightwish, he had Tarja, he had Anna, he had Floor, he had Troy, Tomas, he had all of these other guys that were sort of part of almost a course where it worked to level out his voice. And, I don't think he's a bad singer at all. like
No,
it's
he
not
just
to the
needs the
point where I won't listen to him. It's just,
he needs the right parts.
yeah,
And
you know,
like and Planet Hell when he does the freaking deep voice part, like that's
yeah.
perfect for him. That's perfect for him. He
Um,
masters that shit. But uh,
um,
oh,
what's that
he
one?
did he did pretty good in the Ghost Love score too, I think. But
There's there's one Nightwish song that I really love him on. Um, it was right before. I think it was on once. It was him and Tarja doing "Wish I Had an Angel."
oh
Um,
yeah, that's he's
you know,
amazing in that song.
that's when Tarja sings and Marco together, where they just,
Mm.
you know, I wish I had an angel, and he balances out Tarja's high with his low, and it just has such a perfect melodic blend. And then you got that massive sort of bass that he adds to it.
Uh,
That
yeah,
I mean,
the techno beat with that along with their voices made that.
yeah, it's as close to a perfect metal song as you could write. I mean, for me, like that's when Nightwish is fucking full on.
Definitely been the, I mean, once is one of their most celebrated albums for a reason, but
Yeah.
it's literally been remastered more times than any other album they've ever done. So there's reasons.
Creek
But
Mary's
there
Blood
you
is
go.
another one that.
Yeah, he does a good job in that too. That I mean that's off once too, isn't it? Like that whole album he shined. But
Yeah.
well, folks, there you go. We talked about these albums thrice, and we threw you a lot of other random music facts just for shits and giggles. You're welcome. But we hope you had a fun time with us. We want to thank Tony for coming on because we had a fun time having him on. And my man, you are welcome back anytime you want to come back. We love return guests.
Absolutely.
So, and you
Yeah.
seem like you have a lot of music to share. I have a feeling. So, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah. You guys are like, I was watching or listening to the corn one that I said earlier. And this is what I talk about. There's people like us just don't, we don't exist with normal people. Like listing people who, oh, do you remember in 2013 when, like Joey Jordison left and then, like talking about it, such an awesome conversation. You guys are doing great things over here and I'd love to be a part of more if you ever need
Yeah,
anybody else on.
definitely. Definitely always down. And yeah, I mean, that's why I wanted to start the show. I wanted to show. I always had music people didn't call normal, and I wanted to share it. So,
Yeah.
and force people to listen to it. So, I mean, might as well start a show might as well start a show where I trap them into listening to it. But because if I actually time down the chairs and make them listen, it's going to be a whole nother scandal. But Tony, where can they find you? Where can they find your book?
So my books, part of what I'm doing right now is I just released it on audiobook. So it's my first ever recording project. So it's out on Audible, Spotify, all that. And then there is a print hardcover paperback. And that's out everywhere. So you can get it Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all those places. For social media, I'm most active on Instagram. So I've been doing like reels and things from the books and plugging in songs, and made a trip back home to kind of catch the nostalgia of where I experienced some of these songs the first time. So Duelist Media is my production company that I published the book under, and I'll be releasing music under at a later time. So if they want to find me, that's where they can look.
There you go, and we'll definitely have to have you back on at least when you start releasing music. Like when you got an album to promote, we'll definitely love to have you on to help you promote it out there.
Love it. That sounds good.
You could bring it on up to you. I don't force artists to bring their own albums always, but that's
Yeah, sounds great.
there's some cash right now, but tickets mine at least. But CJ, where can they find you?
Just look up Music God CJ Playing. You can look up on all of the various formats. You can look up the Loud List. That's where we do the top 10 lists that rock. I'm looking for new people that want to take part in that. So if you have an idea for a top 10 list that you want to do, get a hold of me, or I can send you what's known as the big ass list of loud ideas, where I have hundreds of prepared topics about movies, TV, pop culture, and other random assorted shit like 10 worst Christmas gifts or 10 reasons working in customer service sucks, or, just anything your brain can come up with to create a top 10 list. We will make a top 10 list of it. And then also I have the noise report, which I kind of do this. I interview random people, run it off the rails, and talk about all kinds of crazy shit. As you see, I cover a lot of ground: books, pop culture, music, movies, geography, history, serial killers. Just
And
what
then-
you see on the screen, you'll find my ugly ass.
And that's why we click, because we both hit everything in the freaking world. I've done serial killers. I've done more shows about serial killers than I like to admit, or than people need to see. But yeah, we got to schedule some. We got to schedule some episodes to allow us. We keep meaning to do it, and we keep fucking up and never actually scheduling dates to do it. But you can find both your musers on Facebook as Squatch's Foot. He likes to, or they like to put out our show. I don't know why, but they do. You can also find us on the Gram and X as @Juggalo Bastard, where we stream live on X, and Instagram we post random shit once in a while. And you can find us on YouTube as Maniacal Musings, the only place to check out all 300 plus episodes of the show that's been done. Literally the only place, because Spotify catchers, not Spotify, but podcatchers suck, and they make you, if you change one damn freaking time, you lose all the episodes you have in Spotify and everywhere else. Pissing me off to this day. But 100 something episodes, goddamn it. But come back and see us again next week. I believe next week we already have our episode next week should already be set up, and if I remember right, it's some pretty good albums. So come check it out. Till then, have a good one, everybody, and we'll thank Tony one more time for coming on.